PhD at LSE, the BME Student Diaries, is really just a project to understand the experiences that UK domiciled Black and minority ethnic, or BME, PhD students face at the LSE. And why we explore this question is because increasingly in academia in the UK, we've been looking at, in the realm of education, the experiences that Black and minority ethnic students have at the primary level, at the secondary level, and now it's increasing into the university sphere. A lot of studies have been done in terms of what experiences they may face, what are some of the sociological factors that may impact them external to school, that might impact their experience in school at the undergraduate level, but not so much at the postgraduate level. And a lot of that work has actually been done for the LSE by Sarah Felix. So we thank her for that. So we really just wanted to explore what it's like at the PhD level to see if there are any other differing factors. And given that PhD students actually experience a different application experience from other taught students, because they're researchers and because they experience a different academic environment, we thought it was necessary to examine some of those factors. So we conducted 4 semi-structured interviews with two male identified students and 2 female identified students across different departments at LSE. All of them are UK domiciled and BME. And we asked them about their experience with their supervisors, their peers, any role models that they may have, their social backgrounds and experiences accessing and actually entering the PhD, and actually within the PhD as well. And we found that there were several crucial barriers that they faced entering the PhD. A lot of these were financial, of course, because many of the BME students themselves come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, and also social barriers because they would have lacked the social capital that might have been necessary for you to really matriculate from stage to stage, from high school into undergraduate to graduate to postgraduate. And it really does taper down as they move into higher levels of education into the PhD. And so, but we found that nonetheless, people that were critical to their journey was really their social network. If they didn't have parents, most of them did not have parents who went to university themselves to really be able to guide them through the process, but they had people in their neighborhood, they had friends' parents, and those people were very helpful to them as they progressed and helped to validate their experiences and to encourage them to pursue academia. But however, at the PhD level, we noticed that there was a more subjective admissions process because crucial to the PhD application, you have to really have a supervisor who matches not just your research interests, but you also kind of have to have this social agreement with them because it's essentially a friendship that you're forming over those 3, 4, 5 years. And so a lot of those factors like race and class do subtly play a role. And essentially, if the supervisor doesn't really see themselves in you or see anything in common with you, then it's completely really up to their discretion whether or not they want to supervise you. And if you don't have a supervisor who is willing to supervise you, then you will not have access to the PhD program. So it is really a completely different process at the PhD level. And of course, it has a lot of social and racial implications for Black and minority ethnic students. So that's really most of the findings. In terms of our recommendations, we recommend that a lot of adjustments be made in terms of the supervision rapport. So to allocate funding and administration for preliminary meetings with doctoral supervisors and supervisees before they start the formal academic work, so that they can develop a more informal rapport and a mutual understanding where it might not have previously existed because of maybe racial or social economic differences. We recommend that academic supervisors be trained in soft skills to supervise, because they may be academics, but they might not be trained in supervisory skills. So developing a rapport, open-mindedness, constructive criticism, these things that will really give them the tools to be effective and understanding and loving supervisors. Also to establish an accountability framework for supervisees to evaluate their supervisors that is available for school management to see, so that we can reward supervisors who have high mention and perhaps consult those who may have poor feedback from their supervisees. So that accountability and transparency is very important. In terms of addressing the concerns of the BME students, the PhD students, we suggest facilitating a formal association between the Embrace staff network for Black and minority staff, because most of the PhD students do fall under the staff banner as teaching assistants as well. And that would provide a forum where LSE management is held accountable to some of the agreed recommendations between the PhD students and the Embrace network, and other such arrangements. Basically what we have already for the students, but for something specifically catered towards Black and minority students, especially researchers at the postgraduate level. And a lot of the recommendations are listed further. I won't get into that too much. In terms of just other positive discrimination, we definitely encourage increased allotments of scholarships for BME UK domiciled students, so that for those who can't fund themselves, so that they would really have a more equitable chance of accessing doctoral studies, because it's extremely expensive. To consult BME students for persons or organizations that they might want to get in touch with for future prospects, to kind of mitigate some of those social capital barriers that may be missing for Black and minority students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, and also to contact for the BME PhD students to liaise with other LSE services like the CV advisors, LSE Life, so that they can consult them to reach out to specific Black and minority neighborhoods, ethnic minority neighborhoods in the UK, to offer mentorship, whether individually or group, so that can help those students also, manipulate and maneuver through the university process to make it more equitable for these people in the future. So that's our main recommendations, and thank you, Changemakers, for this opportunity.